Have you ever wanted to be an international arms dealer? Or at least play a game that lets you do that? Well, this one might be right for you. Hi, my name is Charlie, and welcome to Let's Try Gunsmith. 2 things you need to know about this game. 1, it's pre-alpha phase. Like, I don't know why they call it pre-alpha, because honestly, it seems like it's ready. You can upgrade it to alpha now, thanks. But this is an alpha phase game, early access, etc. The second thing is, if you are watching this video within 24 hours of me posting this, you can get it cheap. You can get it cheap. It's cheaper on my game store right now. Click the link at the top of the description and go get it at a good price, and also by supporting me at the same time. It's kind of nice that way. Yeah. If you're watching it after that, of course, enjoy the video and maybe get it yourself. The link to save money on it just simply won't be at the top of the screen. All right, it won't be at the top of the description. Okay, what is Gunsmith? Gunsmith is a deceptively complex factory building game. We're gonna be building a factory, managing logistics, money, resource, inputs, outputs, all that stuff. Market factors, reputation. We'll be legit dealing with governments and supplying them with military surplus gear, whether it be clothing or weapons, or ammunition, or whatever the case may be. We may also be dealing with some black market people too. Maybe we'll be manufacturing things for both sides of the war. Who knows? You can do kind of whatever you want in a lot of different scenarios. Let's go ahead and click new game. Comes with scenarios. I haven't played any of them yet, and this is actually very early. I haven't played much of the game at all yet, but Road to Riches, Building a Name, Iron Age, and Rise to the Skies. These are kind of like, they look like they progress gradually through, like, to teach you the game and to get you better at the game, so maybe a little bit more difficult as you go down. There's also this other one called The World Is Your Own. And this one is sort of like you pick your own goals and do your own thing. And I think I'm gonna do that. Like, it's not a sandbox. The sandbox is here. This is when you have unlimited money and unlimited resources. You can just do whatever you want. I actually want the restrictions, and this game is going to punish you hard if you are not efficient with your factories, which is gonna be really difficult for me. But you know what? That's okay. We're just gonna try this out. If you like this, get down to the comments. Let me know. Maybe we'll make a whole series out of it. I don't know. We're gonna start this on normal, because it's my first time. So right here. And we'll just go ahead and hit play. Now, you're gonna start in a country of your choosing, asterisk. So you have actually 4 options. Start in China, Russia, the UK, or the United States. And I don't know how this actually, like, impacts your gameplay experience much yet. I don't think it does, not that much. I'm gonna go to the United States because we'll be dealing with the US government for our licenses and stuff when we progress further, if we actually end up making this a series. I assume the licenses and stuff would be very similar, if not identical in the game at least, depending on what country you're in. But for now, I'm based in the US, and I wanna be in the US. So there you go. Start the game. Now, there's a tutorial here as well as a story, really quick.
Good morning. It's me, Vienna. I know this has taken longer than expected, but I'm happy to tell you that we've started to conclude your father's estate. I've sent you the keys for a small factory that you've inherited. Use the front door with the padlock. Unfortunately, there's not a lot left. Much of it was reclaimed by creditors after he passed away.
Okay, that's the quick little story bit. Now, Daddy passed away, left us this factory. What are we gonna do with it? Well, we're gonna do the things we wanna do with it. It says, welcome to the factory. This is your heart of your business. Let's get started. This is a tutorial. I am going to go ahead and skip that tutorial and kind of do things my own way on this, because the tutorial has a tendency to make you do things. Like, I can't just do WASD. I have to do it for a certain duration of time to fill up the box. I find that to be real weird. Same thing with the edge scrolling in the screen. It's like, I think we get it. It's 2020, right? The year is 2020. I think we understand that this is something we can do. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cancel the tutorial. There's a lot of the logistical stuff of the factory is gonna be explained in this too, but I'm gonna go through that kind of in my own way. So this is where we're starting our business, right? It's a pretty big space. There's also a room in here. This is like a staff room. There's a couch here too. We're gonna have staff management too. It's not as deep as to make it annoying, but it's not so, it's not super simple. I mean, it's pretty simple. But anyway, let's get talk with it. So this is a factory game. It's all about inputs and outputs, which means we have raw resources. We convert those raw resources into a product, and we try to sell that product. In this case, the first thing we can sell, take a look at the cookbook. I love the cookbook. The cookbook it's really well done. Bravo, really well done. Camo gloves is the first product we can make. It's the only product we can make. If I click camo gloves, it shows me a breakdown of what's required as an input to create this product. But to create that product has several steps. We're gonna need certain machines. In this case, we need camo gloves made in a merger machine. And we have a line layout that goes along with that, which you can explore. And I love this. You can actually click on and or hover on these things within the assembly line process and see all the details about it. So you can see the cost of it. You can see how much electricity it's going to use, how much maintenance cost is, etc. And if you click this, it will actually let you place that machine. Very cool. Love that. Take a look at the raw resources. Right now we have 20 fabrics and 20 plastic blocks, and we're going to need more than that. We're going to need a lot of that to start really ramping up and become profitable. To order more, we go to the market. Now the market has a certain price for each thing. Right now it's $3, okay? And right now the average buy price is usually $2, but right now it's $3. And sometimes you can sell it for more than you can buy it for. Not usually, but if you buy it right now at $3, maybe later on it will have a $4 sale price. You may be able to sell it. Mostly though, we're going to be using this to get raw resources so that we can create more complex stuff. Right now 20 is not enough, so I'm going to come down here and I'm going to grab 200 of the plastic blocks and 200 of the fabric sheets. Okay, so now we have that. That's it. That's all you have to do to get resources. You just hit buy. It does cost you money every time you do that. We're going to start with $123,800. Now eventually, and actually quite quickly, we can set up automation rules. These are very cool. We'll look at those later, but it's basically a way to automate the process of buying new raw materials. Love it. A new dawn. Workers are excited. Things look bright. The future is promising. The factory is starting to shape up and the horizon is expanding. You're going to notice that we're going to have lots of things pop up in our faces. And that's because you can't pause this game. It doesn't let you pause it. There's no way to stop it. I don't know if I like that, but we will see. So this is our current assembly line. You can see things are kind of out of order. The tutorial would walk you through the processes of moving things in the right position and everything, and we're going to go ahead and do just that. So much like if you have saw me doing Satisfactory, or if you're somebody who plays Factorio or anything like that, you understand the basics of this already, and probably more complexness of it. You have a dispenser that kicks out a certain good. You have some way to process that good. Maybe you have to process the good again before it moves on to another thing that processes it some other way. And eventually at the end of the line, it's assembled into a product, for which case you can then sell it. That's the basics of it. So let's take a look at the cookbook. Cookbook for camo gloves, the only product we can make right now. We need fabric gloves and fittings. To get those, we're going to need to look at dispenser, which is what we have right here. We need a cutter, which is going to cut it into fabric gloves. That's what this is. This is the cutter. Then it goes down to the merger and gets merged into camo gloves with the plastic fittings. Now the fittings are made from plastic blocks, which then get heated and then formed. Like you heat the plastic, you form it into the fitting, then it goes into the merger, which assembles it into a camo glove. That stuff needs to be stitched so that it's all nice and together, and then moved to the end of the line in the boxing machine to be boxed. Okay, so that's the process. The dispenser is going to output what we tell it to output. In this case, it's on the line with the cutter, so we can go ahead and hit fabric sheet, and then it will start dispensing fabric sheets when we turn the machine on. Okay, the cutter needs to output fabric gloves. So there we go. And then this here is our plastic former. Eventually, plastic blocks are going to reach it. And when it does, we want it to make plastic fittings. Right? So we'll talk about the merger machine stuff when we set it up. But right now, we're going to need another dispenser. So this dispenser is handling fabric sheets. Let's get another dispenser and We'll rotate it around so it's facing the right direction. And this one is going to output plastic blocks. Notice how each machine we put down has a maintenance cost per day, as well as an electricity cost. It's also going to wear down over time, so we're going to need to also tend to maintaining it. That's what the 100 that you see above these machines. When we start using them, they start wearing down, right? So it's going to go through here, plastic block output is going to go through here into the heater. Oh, here we go. So higher risks, bigger rewards. Today, an intimidating fella came to the factory. He was escorted by 2 heavy bodyguards, probably armed. They wanted high-quality military gear. They did not care about licenses, legal matters, or any of the sort. They only want quality products, and they are willing to pay as much as needed, no questions asked. They brought an offering as a sign of good intentions. So these guys are somebody named Danny Werner. He's in Germany. FIS is his organization, and there's a little bit of a bio about Danny here. We can either accept or reject a partnership with him. If we accept, we get 20 reputation with him, and also we get given $8,000, right? Now, this is not a legitimate organization as far as I understand, but, it's a new player, and I want money, so okay. Good. Do business with us. You won't regret it. So I get $8,000 given to me. That's nice. But again, I can't pause it. I haven't made any products yet. So we need to redo the order of these machines because clearly they're not in a way where the products can reach the destination. So we can double click anything and move it. In this case, we're going to move the assembly line here. So the products will get kicked out of the cutter. Why is that hard to say? Come down the assembly line into the merger machine. Plastic is then going to come into the heater, go into the plastic former, which makes the fittings, and then goes into the merger machine, which is then going to output camo gloves. Those camo gloves need to be stitched. Notice how this icon just has camo gloves, but when we take a look at our final product in the boxing machine, you're going to notice that camo gloves has an S over it, S1. That means it needs sewing level 1 applied. It needs stitched. That's why we're going to use this sewing machine. If you need 2, like level 2 stitching, you just have to make sure that it passes through a stitching machine twice. Same thing with the heats or cooling or whatever the case may be. So this is ready to go. The only thing we're missing now is somebody to manage the machinery. We can't just turn it on ourselves. We need an employee that can manage the machinery and monitor it and all that stuff. Make sure everything's working as it should. So we're going to come over to staff management, go to line control. We're going to add a station. Now, the station's going to be situated kind of wherever you want it to be. You just have to make sure it's out of the way. And when you finally start getting maintenance workers, you want to make sure that there's a little bit of space around the machine so that maintenance workers can get in there and actually, maintain it. So for this, I'm going to put this guy like maybe right. Yeah, I'll put it right here. It doesn't really matter where you put it. So this station right here, we need an employee. We also need to connect certain machines to the station so that this station is monitoring the stations that we want. Now, this station by default can handle up to 10 machines at once. This can be improved with research, which we'll get to in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and recruit and assign an employee. Now that we have an employee done, that's literally it. There's no looking for traits. It's just, hey, hire somebody for that job. And the game goes, okay, this is someone that can handle the job. Good. Let's add this plus sign here. I want to add certain machines to this monitoring station here, this line controller. So we're going to add all of the machines to it. That means a total of 8 out of 10. So 2 more machines can be added to this. But now that all these are done, we'll go ahead and power them on and see how it works. So with these machines on, we're currently using 194 out of the 200 available power. Okay? Everything takes power. Every belt takes power. Okay? Whether it's running or connected to machines or not, it's going to take power. Right? Now, as you can see, the plastic's coming out of this machine, goes through the heater. Then it goes into get the fittings, gets created into fittings. Meanwhile, fabric's coming out of here. It gets cut up into the shape of a glove. The gloves comes through here, gets merged with the fittings, and then it gets sewed and sent to the boxer, which then kicks out a box. Now, this is a pre-alpha build, right? Pre-alpha means not done, like not feature-rich at all. Probably a lot to come. Take a look at the tech tree really quickly. Up here. Say the tech tree is a little bit weird, but you get the hang of it pretty quickly. Two factors. One, each direction goes for a certain type of tech, and you start out, depending on your scenario or whatever, you start out with certain things done already. Now up here, some of these paths are kind of specialized. Chemicals, these are bullet productions. You can see these little things here all require a license. This requires a chemicals license. This requires an explosive license. This right here requires a pistol productions license, etc., right? And you need to spend RP to unlock any of these. So as you click around, you get a description of them, whether they're unlocked or anything. So you can see, for example, if I wanted to unlock this one, it was going to be unlocked in 1 day. It will cost 40 research points, as well as $2,500, right? Some also has prerequisites. This one has a prerequisite for 4, so I need to do this one first. This one's prerequisite was 3, which is already done for me. How do I get RP? You have to actually spend money per day, and you get to determine your budget. So if I say I want to spend, let's say 4% of my budget on research and development, I can have 127 RP generated per day, which means I'll be able to research this one really quickly. I mean, they're just shelves. But some of these things are much more taxing. Some of these things take a lot more research, which actually, yeah, over here. So once you get the bullets, 150, 200, 225, they start to add up. And as you move through the different trees, you kind of figure out where things are. We're probably going to spend a lot of time over here because 2 things. One, we need to be profitable before we can get into these areas because these areas are expensive, but also because some of these things require reputation to do. So for example, I can't do these or this. Oh, and this, you just noticed I ran out of supplies. This whole thing is running the whole time. There is no pause. So trying to explain how all this stuff works, I'm draining myself down. So I'm going to spend some time explaining this to you so you guys kind of understand it. And then I'm going to revamp it if we decide to do a series on it. We're going to start from scratch, and I'm going to get going right away because I don't want to waste the time, right? Because that's costing me money while I'm sitting here, too. I've lost, I don't know how much, like $2,000 just right now. It's crazy. First order from this individual, Mr. Werner. He wants 500 camo gloves. Okay, so while I've been talking here, we have 320 already in stock. Let's accept that. He's going to give me $840 for it, which is not a lot, but it is what it is. All right, so these products here require the licenses, and the licenses require reputation. You can't build reputation unless you've been selling things. So we're going to spend a lot of time on raw resources for a little while, right? Let's go ahead and buy 200 of each of these again so we don't run out of supply. All right, so we're out here and we're ready to start selling things and making money. But noticing our boxes are starting to just sort of pile up. That can happen. That's because we don't have the storage space for it. So this is called spillage. When we don't have the ability to store it or place it where it goes, we get spillage. We may also get spillage on the assembly lines. If it gets too crowded, things might fall. So we have to be a little bit mindful of that too. Right now, it's because we don't have enough storage space. So I'm going to go to the build menu, and I'm going to make more storage shelves. And we can stack these up on top, but we can't go too high because it requires research to go that high, right? So higher shelves, right? More research, but we at least can go that high with it. I can also build laterally too. So if I want to build like along the wall here, here, and here, it'll let me do this too. And we'll just go ahead and do that. It takes $250 each time I do that. But now when we make more gloves, it's not going to go in the pile. So how do we get the stuff in the pile on the shelves? Well, we're going to use a Hoover tool, like a vacuum tool, the Hoover vacuum, right? And we're just going to go over top of this, and it sucks them all up and brings them into storage. And that's where they are now. They have this whole top shelf is sorted out now. This can also happen on the assembly lines, like I said, and the tutorial would give you an example of that being like way over here. So we get extra plastics and fabrics just into inventory by going over here and just sucking them all up. And when the raw resources in inventory, it means the dispensers can access them, okay? Okay, so this is not efficient. It's pretty inefficient, actually. But I need to make money. And since I'm not making a whole lot of money with this efficiency, notice 530 per day, I think we need to rework this entire factory because it doesn't look very good. It doesn't work very good. It looks fine. It just doesn't work fine. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to orders really quick and make sure that we can actually fulfill this guy's order. Done. Now, we're also going to have some other orders to fill too. So let's grab like this one here. 2,000 bucks for this order. And as soon as we got this to the point where we get basically, yeah, that box right there. Let's go ahead and shut down the machine. We're going to power off the machine. And this active order can be filled now. So with the machine powered off, all the stuff that's currently on the belt will just magically go through this. Magically. It'll just go through this, and then it doesn't kick out any more stuff, right? But we're still using some resources. We're just not using these machines. So the power is lower. Let's reorganize this so that it's a little bit more efficient. And that means using less belts. I think that means using less belts. So I'm going to bring a whole bunch of these belts over around here. We're going to see. I think we can probably get away with using this many belts. And simultaneously, I want to make more. I don't want to make them as slowly as this is making them. Now, how do we make more? Well, you can see the output speed of the dispenser is 1 second. Okay? Output speed, 1 second. The cutter, however, cuts in half a second. The plastic former outputs in half a second, which means I can have 2 dispensers against 1 cutter for optimal efficiency. So let's try that. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. I think I'm going to move most of this stuff out of the way. The boxer I'm going to leave here. No, I'm not. I'm going to move out to here. Boxer's going to come out to here. Okay? Now, we have a stitcher. And the stitcher, I could just butt this right up against it. I could. I like seeing the products move, and I also want the option to send things to the boxing machine without having to go through the stitcher. There's a benefit to having some belts between your machines if you have an interest in, for example, going off of... Here, let's move this out of the way. If I was making another machine and I wanted the ability for this belt to go here to get into this boxer but bypass this, I would be able to do that easier than having this machine right up against it. If I do this, nothing is going into this boxer without getting stitched. So I'm going to move this just a little bit like that. Okay, now our products need to be merged first. So let's get the merger machine. I'm going to bring it over to... Let's bring it to here. Yes, help and tips. Got it. This belt is going to get moved to, let's say, here. That ought to do. Okay. Now we need the cutter. Sorry, the former. I think the former can just butt up right against this. I don't think I need to see... I don't need any belts in the former. We're going to put a belt here only because the cutter machine is really wide. It's a very big machine, and I need room, right? So I can't butt this right up against it, for example. So I'm going to butt this to be right there instead. There we go. Now, these 2 machines can get inputs from 2 sources at once. So we're going to try that. This one is going to get this. This is the cutter, right? Yes. So we want the dispenser that does fabrics to be... we're going to put one right here. Like, I'm making this real close together, right? I want as little power being used as possible and as little footprint being used as possible, too. So I might actually scoot this back again. Although I like the idea of having bigger shelves and having the idea of extending the shelves out, I think we could probably get away with less floor space if we do this. So I'm going to move all this stuff back just a little bit. Like so. And there's actually a chance that I want an extra set of sewing to go through here too eventually. But for now, I think this is okay. Okay, so we want to do this and also want to do this. Now, we need to leave some space around the machine somewhere so that it can be maintained, right? Because they do wear down. See 81 out of 100, 82 out of 100, etc. The little green health bar kind of thing. They do wear down over time. So this is going to be a belt. Now I'm thinking I want to move this back just a tad. This belt is not fitting there. So it looks like I'm going to have to scoot this back even more. Maybe. Let's move this belt to here. Maybe we put the cutter here instead. That could work. We put the cutter there. And then we put the dispenser. Yes, the dispenser for the fabrics can go here. And then we need another dispenser for fabrics to go here. And maybe we can actually offset this. So we can maybe move this down one. And like it's gonna... Hey, old friends. Yes. An old, square-faced gentleman came today. His face was harsh and yet soothing and calm. He probably saw too much in life. We talked for a few hours. He's an old friend of my father's. Oh, cool. A proud soldier. Gerard is his name. He was quite secretive about my father's old business, but he offered me some financial help. A gift for friendship's sake. $15,000. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. To get us started on our journey. Okay, so I can actually butt this right up against this machine. And this will let me offset this just a tad. Because they're going to come out kind of butting into each other. But if I offset them a tad, I can't believe that works. That's like really tight. I'm going to let that work though. Okay, so what we need here is, I think, one more belt. And then on this side, I'm going to have you go here. We need to give a little bit of space, right, for repairing. And then you actually want the heat to go happen too, though. So here's what we'll do. We'll have you come back, have the heater come to here. You know what? We don't even need that. Let's butt the heat right up against this. There we go. Done. This dispenser can go here. Piece of cake. And then we need another dispenser to go on the edge of this. And this will also be the plastic. So 2 plastic block dispensers. And we get rid of all these belts. Now, I'm not going to sell the belts because you only get half your money back when you sell them. And I'm going to need to buy them in the future. So I'm going to save the belts. But look what's happened here. We have doubled our production. And we're using a lot less resources and foot space, like floor space, right? For the same outcome. And I like that a lot. I think that's going to work out well. So all we have now is to test it out. We want fabrics to come out of here, plastic blocks out of here, and all this stuff just works the way it works. So in order to get these machines lined up, we have to connect them. These 2 dispensers are new. They're extra. So let's connect them to this line controller and flip the power on. Except we can't flip the power on. We can't flip the power on because it takes 140 power to power all of this. And our current capacity is 64 out of 200. So for that reason, and for not wanting to buy more power, I think I'm probably, because the power is going to cost me $2,000 and $35 in maintenance costs. So for that reason, I'm just going to take the demolish mode, and I am going to go ahead and sell some of these. I'm going to get some money back. But the important thing is to get under 60 power, because now I have the capacity to flip this station on, and that 140 power that this uses won't go over the 200 power limit. So now we've got the dispenser kicking out fabrics 2 at a time, every second, one a second, times 2. The cutter cuts 1 every half second, so that just makes it awesome. And the same thing is happening for the plastic blocks. They just slide in between them like this. It looks really, that just looks really satisfying. Well, if I had more supplies, I just ran out of supplies. So why don't we go to market? and make sure we buy more raw resources. And you know, I don't really want to buy these raw resources manually like this anymore. So I think it's time. Oh, you know what? Also, let's move this guy. This guy can move over here. Let's get somebody else to help us manage that. So we're going to go to management, and I'm going to hire somebody to be a market manager. He costs $3,000 up front, $300 a day in his wage. We'll recruit him. Then we're going to want to get another station. So let's grab this tool here. Add a... this is the line group. I don't want that. Well, it doesn't matter because we're not going to have to buy it. I want the market station, which is actually down here. It's kind of weird. Right here. Market station. $500, $10 maintenance, and 10 power. 10 power is a bit of a problem for me. So it looks like I'm going to have to buy power anyway. For the time being, until we're profitable, I'm going to manage that on my own. Because I don't want to sell these yet. But we're making double the gloves now, which is really nice. Power this on. Why is it not powering on? Wait, what's happening? Unassigned staff. Assigned? How come I can't turn this on? 140 power. I'm kind of lost. Is it because of, I don't know. Is it because of this? Why are they using, what is using 88 power? There it is. So weird. I don't know what was going on there, but like it was reading as there not being enough power available. It was reading it as if 88 power was currently being used, and that's just not the case. So I don't know what that was all about. But my market manager is here, and he's waiting for a place to work. So we're going to go ahead and just get the power station anyway, because I need more power capacity for the market manager. I don't want to sit there and manage my supply all day. So I'm going to put the market manager here. And hopefully that means Mr. Market Manager we've hired will come over here and work. It looks like he's on his way. Look at him walking over here. Those are some pretty big strides. Yeah? Yeah, manage our stock there, dude. All right, so the stock management, right? This part here, we have automation rules. So we can have buying rules and selling rules. I want to institute buying rules so that we never run out of supplies. So I'm going to click this button here. I'm going to go to fabric sheets, and I want to say I want you to buy 200 of these under a certain condition. When our quantity is less than or equal to, let's say 75 units, I want you to buy 200 more. But I only want you to do that if the price is less than or equal to $4 per unit. Because if the price gets way too high on this, I don't want to buy it. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. Save it. Then, same thing for the plastic blocks. And I think I'll just repeat the exact same process here too. So item quantity less than or equal to 75. And if the price is less than or equal to 4. Okay, so what will happen here, if I switch this on, is whenever our supply drops below 75, like it is now, our market manager should go ahead and buy more. Should. So let's see if he does. 18. Should be any second now. There it goes. There's a trigger to it. So it's going to check the order interval every some odd seconds. In this case, 15 seconds. So that's why it took a little bit. So we don't have to deal with our raw resources anymore. This is just going to keep on coming, which means we're going to start stocking up. That means we need to start selling too, because we're down to 101 grand now. So let's also take a look at research really quick. We have 101 RP, and I think it's time maybe we cut some costs. So let's start with maintenance costs, minus 3%. After that, I think I'm going to go for zippers. This is going to let us, it's going to open up the doors for us to be able to start making combat boots, camo vests, combat bags, like backpacks, as well as trousers, right? The army's got to get their uniforms somewhere. They might as well get them from us. So we've doubled our production on gloves. That's good. We can also think about where we want. I'm trying to think of what the logistics are of getting the vests that I want to make and the boots and stuff that I want to make into this boxer. I don't think I need to put it into this boxer, but I'm actually tempted to put it into this specific boxer. I think what I'll probably do is move this here. And then we'll probably slide. Well, I don't want to do it right now. Shoot. I don't want to do it right now. Hoover! I'm going to do it right now. I'll probably slide this over here and then adjust the direction of this. I can actually do it. Yeah. So we'll put this here. That way I can get this boxer from the other side too. The more stuff I can shove into this boxer, I think the better. Because this boxer takes 30 power and $20 in maintenance per day. But it doesn't take any it doesn't have a time. Right? It doesn't take any time to actually pump out a box. So final products, you can see how it's climbing. It gets to 20 and then it'll kick it out. It has one box, and the box then just kicks out onto the conveyor belt here, or onto this exit platform, right? Let's grab some more orders. Let's say gloves. Everyone wants the gloves. And we'll just start satisfying these orders for pretty much everyone. I mean, these are just, like, I'm not going to be like, I don't want to serve the Russians. Their money is money, and I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna sell it to them. Plus, some of these guys pay us different rates too. In this case, it's the same, but some of these guys will pay us different rates for different things. This would be sweet if we could get the Mark I rifles, but the Mark I rifles, right, are like way over here. Like we're talking like the end of the tech tree, the very end. Right? So we're not going to be able to make these anytime soon because those are guns. And we need lots of money, reputation, and licenses to make guns. But I like the idea of these being like really close together. As long as there's enough room for maintenance people to get in there, they should be able to maintain them. Speaking of which, I think I want to hire a maintenance guy. Mechanic, yeah. I think I want to hire one. So maintenance guy should be able to like get around and keep our machines up to date. Okay, so now we could kick out gloves like all day, but gloves, they don't make a lot of money, right? What we really need to do is we need to start unlocking other productions. We need to start making other things. So I'm gonna grab the zipping machine here. And once we have the zipping machine done, we can then unlock the ability to make all that other camo equipment. So I'm going to let this run for a bit, keep ourselves hopefully in the black. I don't know how much money we're making. It's kind of hard to see from finance how much money you're actually making. It says we have 14,000 out and 3,000 in. I don't think that's the case. I think this is like, data reset in 5 days. So this isn't ongoing. This is like as of 5 days, right? So this is past numbers, not present numbers. I don't know how to see present numbers. All right, so I'm gonna let this get on. Hang on, he doesn't have anything to fix. What is this? Oh, toolkits. He doesn't have toolkits. Right, so I need to have is it here? Yes, a tool station. Tool station, I'm gonna put that over. I kind of want it here, so I'm gonna move you to be here, and then the tool station is gonna go right here. So now the maintenance guy can grab the tools that he needs to do the job. It'd be nice if this was a little bit smaller so I could fit it right there, but okay. There you go, Mr. Maintenance Man. Now, some people might say, hey, you don't need a maintenance man. Yeah, that's kind of a waste of money. But I want to focus on the factory logistics. I want to focus on making things more efficient. And like, I want to work on the making of stuff. I don't want to work on the repair tool, click this thing stuff, right? So it's more of a preference of what I want to focus on. Right now, I'm not making a whole lot of money in anything. But with zippers unlocked, we can start thinking about that. So for research-wise, I want to unlock the ability to make combat boots, vests, trousers, and the backpacks. So I'm going to grab that. And once we have that, we can start setting up an assembly line that allows us to get that done. And I think I'm going to readjust this machine to be facing the other direction. So what I want to do there is I probably need to shut down the line. Let's make sure we're selling stuff. Selling all the orders we have. More gloves here. Let's just sell that. Let's shut down that line temporarily. Or not. Shut down the line, please. Yep. So we're not going to have any spillage. And then I'm just going to reposition this so that it's here instead. And I think maybe we come back this way. Can you drop this? I think it's, yeah, it's only from the one side. That's unfortunate. Well, it's okay. We can do it from here. It looks like it has to come down from the side, though. It looks like you have to attack it from the side. Which is not what I was hoping for. Okay, maybe we'll just do this. We'll stick this out like this. And then we'll get another conveyor belt. Right, like this. And then we'll do one more. And I know I have spare belts, so like why buy more? But we're going to need more anyway. All right, so we're sticking this out and it'll come down this chute. And this way I have the ability to send other things and build other things and get them into this boxing machine. That's what I was kind of hoping to do. So let's turn that line back on. And we'll get things started again. I know this is adding a little bit of extra expense, but it also lets me put another stitcher in here. It gives me flexibility to move in this area without having to shut down machines. So that's what I'm looking for. And as soon as the research is done, we should start seeing new items open up in this area. And we can see new workflows and make new products. All right, combat apparel tier 1 researched. So, take a look at the cookbook. Here's all of our stuff. And like part of me wants to make stuff, but I also want to cater to specific customers' needs. So, I'm going to take a look at orders, available orders, and we're not going to see anybody requesting our new stuff yet. Right? It takes a bit to see that. And like I don't know how to like prompt that. It looks like it just happens in a minute and a half. So we're gonna sell this stuff when it's ready for the gloves, and then hopefully we'll see orders for other stuff, and then I can weigh in how that stuff has to be assembled. So the cookbook. Let's take a look at camo vests. Camo vests are a little bit more complicated, just a little bit, because they introduced the zipping machine. So it's mostly the same process, except two differences. The first is the zipping machine. The second is that it requires sewing level 2, which means the product needs to travel through the sewing machine twice. So it might be better for me to reposition this sewing machine over to here. And that way I can have a product go through a sewing machine here and then go on to this one here. So we're using this sewing machine for both products, right? Because the boxer, it just takes everything and it creates a box. As soon as it has enough to make it, it just creates a box. So you really don't need, like, quote unquote, need more than one boxing machine. And it takes 30 power. It's not cheap. You know, that's a lot of power compared to, 5 power here. The merger machine is 25 power, so that's pretty expensive. Cutters take 20 power. That's pretty expensive. So like everything is expensive. And yeah, we want to cut our costs as much as possible there, I think. So hopefully we have more orders now. Combat boots. All right. So people are starting to want boots. I've never made boots before, but it looks like it takes sewing level 1. So let's take a look and see what it takes to make boots. Combat boots. You need a boot sole and a fabric and a fabric boot. So same thing. Looks like same process. Looks like it's gonna get heated. Goes through the fittings, gets heated again. And then we make the boot sole from the plastic former. So these are pretty expensive. Combat boots are gonna be expensive to make, but I'm excited for the challenge. So why don't you guys, if you like this, leave me comments. Let me know, do you want to see more? Are we going to expand our factory into an arms-dealing empire? You kind of see how the game works now. If you have any questions, you can let me know that too. I'll try to answer it in the next video. And also, this stuff gets a little bit more automated as we go forward too. So if you like it, let me know. Otherwise, this has been Gunsmith. I hope you have a wonderful day. And again, if you're watching this on the day of release, click the link in the description. You can get this game for yourself at a great price and support me at the same time. Take care. We'll see ya. Bye-bye.